Hi, favored ones. Welcome to Soul Talk. Our guest for today is Cristina. Si Cris Estampador. She is a digital marketing specialist and she is a volunteer coordinator for the Special Olympics Philippines. So, di ba? Very interesting. And later, you will know why I invited her for our Mother's Month celebration. Because for the entire month of May, I will be inviting guests who are moms or who plays the roles of a mom. So let's all welcome Cris. Hi Cris,
Ah,
kamusta ka?
Hi to all the favored ones. I hope that I'll be worthy to speak in Soul Talk today.
Ba't naman hindi? Everyone has a story to share.
Humble pie ko, no? Humble pie.
Ayan, kamusta ka na? Ano yung, alam mo, because Cris is a co-meditator of mine. So,
Mhm.
I know that she's very techy and all that. She's really updated with all things related to technology. But I didn't realize that she's actually a digital marketer. Yun, kamusta ba? Kamusta ang work mo?
It's I don't work is just fine. I mean, I was always online anyway, so it wasn't any different.
Oo.
Ang nadagdagan lang because of the situation we were in was that I had to face everything else. We don't have a helper, so I had to, and I have two special needs sons, diba? So it really being able to face the need to be more organized. As much as I love to think na organized ako before, it wasn't until we were in this situation talaga to make everything be put in a cubby and all that, put them all in boxes and be able to accomplish all that. So um, it's fun naman. It's nice to be in that journey of being organized as a mom and as a homemaker and as a working individual. Yeah.
Oo. Hindi siya madali actually. Hindi siya madali.
Yeah, because hindi siya madali. But that's the fun part about it. I mean, online naman kasi so you're able to get all these ideas. From TikTok na lang you'll get an idea how to organize. From YouTube, from Netflix, you get all these ideas. So why not? Yung ganun.
Ang mga resources no, yung mga, ano pa rin, it's all social media. Ayun. Pero you've mentioned that you have two sons with special needs. Could you share what the
Mhm.
journey of being a mom is for you, having having sons? Ganon, na very
I
special.
my goodness. Of course, challenging. Kasi I'm pretty sure every special needs mom or dad is going to say challenging. Um, but the challenge for me is to be the biggest challenge for me with this special needs journey is uh, changing the way a human being should grow, changing what I think that they should grow. My generation, may set standards in it. You have to be this person at this age. You have to finish high school. At this age, you have to finish college. And you don't. And the thought of being pregnant as a single mom was absolutely unheard of. Yung mga ganon. Um, yung ganung standards that we placed on people, and that was my challenge to be able to let go of that. That a person can still grow without adhering to those norms, and there's a different way of expressing their value to the community. That was the biggest challenge for me, and it's still happening because it means I have to reprogram myself. Not that the old programming was bad, it's just doesn't work for my boys, it just doesn't work for us. So I have to use a different way that's easier for us, that's happier, that makes the journey happier for us. Yeah, rather than torturing myself. No, you have to be like this, you have to behave like this, and so again. It just doesn't help with us.
Oh. Pero was there a time when you had to follow the norms
Oh
rather
God.
than, break the patterns,
Oh
create
my
something
gosh.
new?
Oh my gosh, the guilt and shame.
Wala
um,
naman, wala naman
but
blaming
even
dito, 'di ba?
I know I have to forgive myself, and we were talking about forgiveness last night. Um, ano ba ito? Back then I really felt guilty. I really felt very shameful about it. Imagine mo, I would actually bully my kid to be able to read, not understanding why he could not read as well as the other kids. My older son has a shade of dyslexia, and that, as much as it was brought up on me, I mean, as much as I was informed about it, I just didn't know how to deal with it back then. That was the early 2000s, and the resources weren't there. Even if I Google it, it wasn't as prevalent or as kasing dami as they are now. So imagine mo, that's just so bad for a mom to bully her own son to be able to read. And yes, that was hard for me. And I didn't want to be that. I didn't want to be the kind of mom that my son would be afraid of. That was so crazy of me. And of course, not as much guilt and shame as before. Maybe a memory of it na lang. Pero I'm glad I went through it. Otherwise, I wouldn't make that 180. You know, I wouldn't make that 180. So
Parang sa journey mo naman maraming, alam mo yun, triumphs. So, what's the best thing that you love about your journey with your sons?
oh, seeing that they can. Oh yes, of course, definitely a lot of trials, and being able to see them make their own discarte about things.
Oo.
Um, by just being themselves, I don't even have to do anything.
Actually, they
Both of
seem so grown up right now. Ilang taon na ba sila? Parang one is
are
working na,
well,
right?
they are grown up. Henry's 22, working as an HR assistant for Bounty AgriVentures. Derek is 21. He graduated high school, doesn't want to go to college, quite very clear. He has sensory issues with crowds. So he knows pretty much that he cannot thrive in that environment. And he has a speech problem as well, communication problem. So he's finding his group, but then he's a very entrepreneurial kid. He'll find the recipe and he'll want to sell it. Ganon. So may sarili siyang diskarte. It's even his idea. It's not even mine, which is fantastic. I didn't even think about that. What was the question? I lost the question.
Oo. The triumphs, the things that
The
you love
triumph.
best about the journey
Oh
with
my
your
gosh.
sons.
Yes, definitely. Seeing them with their own discartes, for them to be able to find their own way of doing things. As for me, that's always gives me a kick talaga. And both of them are athlete leaders for Special Olympics Pilipinas. Henry has had the chance to participate in the Special Olympics World Games in Abu Dhabi in 2019. He's a power lifter. And that's his first international competition. And it takes a lot of maturity to be able to get through that. And I knew as much as he wasn't emotionally and psychologically ready for it, you just have to go through with it, diba? Because I know that competition can change you. Hindi ko naman siya pressure to win. No pressure at all. But what came out of that was he was featured by Humans of New York.
Ah, that's nice.
It was featured by Humans of New York. They did a special run on Special Olympics, so they were there in Abu Dhabi. They found a CNN Philippines feature on Henry, and they sought him out. And it was in the middle of the night. It was in the middle of the night. It was midnight. My friend Aldine tags me, Christy, this is Henry. Oh my God. And then all the comments were coming in so fast. It was already dawn. I'm out of tissues. I'm crying. For him to be
Oh.
able to have the platform to express himself is so important to me, because for the most part kasi they don't special needs kids are not given the platform to speak, to
Hanggang
express
ngayon ba,
themselves.
ganun pa ba? I mean,
Yeah,
may
there
problem
are
pa rin in terms of inclusivity, diversity here in the Philippines.
yeah, because you can't change people overnight, diba? There's still that programming in their head. They have to do this, they have to do that, and all that. And as much as they are making an effort, may traces pa rin. Yung ganun. And I can only give people a bit of a nudge towards that. And yeah, to be able, and those were all his words. If you seek him out in Humans of New York, I mean, those were all his words. They were not, they were not pre-rehearsed or anything like that. So, and that's one triumph that we had for him to experience being a superhero, to inspire people with his words. I think that's really really cool. Yeah.
Ano yung mga biggest challenges that you had to overcome to be the best mom or the best person that you could be at this time? Kasi ang pagiging mom naman, it's overlapping with any other roles that you have.
Mm-hmm.
So, what kind of values did you you're able to really espouse because of the kids, and now you're imparting it not just to them but also to the community where you're part of.
I don't know if I've achieved it yet, but I'm also always working towards not judging myself and other people. And that's really really a challenge because you grew up with that, and unconsciously that also comes around with your environment sometimes, diba? Manunod ka lang ng Netflix show, ginajudge mo na yung director. Diba? You have your opinions and stuff like that, and for me that's the hardest part, to be able to let go self-judgment and judging other people. And I appreciate when I'm able to get over one situation, but of course, there's always another situation again that's gonna call that. So that's pretty constant. And the challenge also, um, to just have faith. As much as my faith is much stronger now, than when I started on this journey, there's still some issues that crop up. Yung ganun. But I'm glad that it's konting-konti lang. Yung tipong it'll appear and then I'll go, okay, that's fine. Let me pray. And then I can let it go. And then I'm pretty sure that um, something will come. Something will come to address it, or at least give you an idea that you can handle right now. Yeah. And I think that's the best part. Yeah.
Actually, what I love about faith is that, sometimes when it, rocks, it
Yes.
come back stronger.
Yes.
Because of what you have processed and prayed
Uh-huh.
for. So mas
Mhm.
lumalakas pa kahit na yayanig siya ng konti. So yun
Yeah.
yung maganda. Whereas
Yes.
for the kids, kasi I think I've seen them grow for the past 3 years.
3 years lang ba?
Oo,
Okay.
3 years. And in that short of a period, ang laki ng improvements nila.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Parang
yes. Oh,
nag-growth
yes.
spurt ata sila during those times. And when Henry started working, it also showed me that, people, or people with special needs can really be part of the community, and they have something of value to also share.
Mhm.
So I commend you for that, actually, for how they are turning out to be young men.
I'm very thankful to have been blessed by God to have these people around me who support them. Whether it's our meditation group in this case. Well, diba, pag may healing, I mean, if I need healing for me in the voice, I have you guys, and also for my sanity as well.
Mm-mm.
And Special Olympics Pilipinas, helped me a lot. My family, of course, helped me a lot with that. And
And
yeah, I'm glad that I was able to see the value of these people. Otherwise, it would have been a harsh journey trying to do it by myself.
ano yung mga what are the lessons naman that you learned because of your children?
one lesson that I learned first was that napapansin ko they are a reflection of me. Okay. Um, um, Let me put it in more practical terms. Both my boys have what you call sensory integration issues. Um, their senses are not the same as ours. Let's just say you can look at me straight in the eye and listen to me at the same time. Henry cannot do that. It bothers him when he's looking at you straight in the eye. He has to look at somewhere, but he's listening to you and he can remember everything that you've said. You know. Derek, for some odd reason, can read, but he cannot say the words. It's funny. So the senses are all whack, and the integration of the left and the right hemispheres of the it affects the integration of the left and the right hemispheres of the brain, and so they rely on energy or their intuition, if you will, to gauge a situation. So if I am stressed out, and even though I'm trying to be composed and everything, if I'm stressed out, they are going to reflect it back at me by being stressful themselves because they're empathic in a way. So they're picking up on my vibrations and they don't know where it's coming from. They just know that they're feeling that someone is tense. And so they're riding along with it. And so it's giving them a hard time. It's giving me a hard time. So whenever they're giving me some stress, I pull back. Maybe it's coming from me or someone else in the room. So we need to center. So that for me was a big changer because from then on talaga, hindi ako pwede stressed. I check myself first before I check with the boys. Yung ganun.
Ang ganda nun. Self-awareness because your boys can easily pick up on 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 your emotions.
It's not just boys. I get to interact with a lot of special needs athletes because of Special Olympics Pilipinas, and they're great judges of character. Whatever energy you bring them, they're gonna give it back to you unequivocally, unconditionally. So if they're feeling not comfortable with you, check yourself. If they
Teka, nag-choppy lang. Okay, and all right, so Cris is back. And the last thing she was talking about was that it's not just her children pick up on the different senses, but also the other special needs children. Yun. Ako, nakabalik ka na ba? Or nag-freeze
definitely
eh? Ayan.
you're frozen.
Yes. From my end, you're frozen. But I could hear you. And we're back. Nagkaroon lang tayo ng tech difficulties. But,
Tech glitch.
okay na. So, Cris, you were saying, I am so interested. I did realize that, special needs children and people would use their different senses.
Well, they don't have a choice. As much as everybody has, common sense of direction, sense of judgment, character judgment. Ganun. Kasi their senses nga are out of whack and they can't rely on their physical senses. So they're going to use their other senses. So, whatever energy you're going to bring out to them, pretty sure they're going to reflect it back at you. They won't judge you naman. They just won't deal with you at that time. Like, for example, if you're a little tense or medyo masungit ka, lalayo lang sila sa'yo. And that's no judgment at all. But if you're in a great mood, you're in a huggy mood and everything like that, they're going to give it to you back. And it feels so good when they do that because it's so unconditional. I also have this trick. I don't know, but somebody told me kasi that our friends told me that angels speak to you through the right ear. And it was recommended to parents na to program your babies to have positive virtues by talking to them into the right ear. You're such a good baby, you're so behaved, and you're or doing how while they sleep or even if they're awake, right? So every time I come across a new special needs person to come into me, to my life, the first thing I do, I won't be so obvious, but I'll try to get into the right ear and ask them, can I be your friend? I don't have to say it out loud. I can give it in a whisper, and I let it go. And then sila na kusa lumalapit sa akin. And that
Amazing.
always works for me. Yeah, like there was this one global delayed teenager. She was a girl. She was so cute. She had a Supergirl costume pa nga. And then I don't know why I went up to her for some odd reason, but I was able to whisper into her ear, "Can I be your friend?" Everybody else was ignoring her, except for her yaya. And then nagulat na lang ako, lumapit siya sa akin and she sat on my lap. She sat on my lap, and so while she was sitting on my lap, I gave her a mirror, I combed her hair, ganun, and we talked, even though she couldn't talk back to me. And before she went back to her mom, she gave me a really good hug. And that's the same with other kids I've met in the States then. As in, nagulat yung mga teachers. I was just there visiting with my friend, and nagulat yung mga teachers how I was able to calm the kids. Because I did that. I whispered into the right ear and I asked permission if I could be their friend. And with no pressure, sila na yung lumalapit.
That's nice. Actually, every parent or anyone can also do that to younger children. Mas attuned pa naman sila eh. Mas attuned pa naman sila sa divine, sa angels, di ba? So,
Yeah.
they can
And
also
and
do
you have
that.
to be honest with yourself when you say that, as in you really want to be their friend. And that's a gauge. Of course, there are some kids who will not like it. There will be some smart aleck kid, diba? But you'll have to figure out how you can say that, diba? How you can be their friend. Yung ganun.
Oo. Pero for you to be able to do that, parang it also means that you have to be really very comfortable with yourself.
Yes. Yes.
Kasi
You can't
kung
test
feeling,
these kids.
oo,
Hindi pwede. They don't like to be tested.
oo. Kasi kung feeling mo
Uh,
hindi ka deserving, hindi ka worthy, parang sino ako para maging friend mo, you can't just do that. It won't
mhm.
work at all. So that means that you're really comfortable, and you've reached a certain level of self-acceptance for you to be able to share, that
Mhm.
kind of love for strangers.
Yeah, I mean, people won't safe around you unless you're safe with yourself. And for most of the time, we are the harshest uh, critics, di ba? Ourselves, di ba?
Oo. Alam mo na-feel ko yun sa'yo. Medyo, ano, medyo harsh critic ka nga.
Straight right there. Yung ganun. That's why nga when I give a compliment, people don't know it's a compliment because they're waiting for something sarcastic from me. Yung ganun. Pero hindi. Talaga, no, ganun talaga. And for when I give a compliment, hindi siya basta-basta. As in, this is really what I think. Yung ganun. And pag-isipan mo yan. Hindi ako nakikipagbulahan sa'yo. Everybody else is gonna say this about you, but I will choose to say something different that's mas malalim. And hopefully you'll treasure that. But of course, the delivery needs work pa rin. Because it's in my nature, it was in my environment to be sarcastic, to be a smart aleck. And I embrace that actually. I embrace that, being a smart aleck.
Yeah, pero nagigets ko rin eh. Kasi, sometimes the delivery or the tone of voice is different. But then, pag kinapa ko naman, parang, she doesn't mean anything about it. Parang, wala lang. Ganun lang talaga siya magsalita. Sabi ko, oh,
Yeah. I
that's
have
Chris.
I have an opinion. It's mine. Yun lang. I mean, don't worry. I'm not gonna tell everybody about it. It's just my opinion. Ganun. Hindi ako chismosa. Yung ganun. Hindi ko,
Ayun.
Di ba? Wala rin naman sa Facebook ko yun eh, di ba? I don't criticize other people on Facebook and stuff. It's mostly for me. Ganun.
Very very naman, lie low ka lang naman. But then,
We all try.
pero you're such a, really, you've also gained a lot of respect within the special needs community. I
I'd
mean,
like
you're
to think so.
so you're so active in within that community. Well, of course, your two children are really
Mhm.
participating in there, 'di ba? Pero ano yung what's the value or the added value that you bring into the community? Ano sa tingin mo yung parang differentiating factor na dinadala mo doon?
Hmm.
Kasi lahat naman tayo may unique gifts and skills eh. So I am sure you're bringing something special as well into the community.
Well, as a techie, that's what where that's where a lot of people appreciate me because I have tech skills, and I also I'm not the kind of person kasi who has to be daunted by a challenge, eh. And that challenge is usually within ourselves. So medyo nagugulat yung iba when let's do this project and stuff like that. Medyo I'm too gung ho about it, and people kind of pull back a little because maybe they don't want to do it or they can't see the value in it. But for me, just keep doing things to to be able to help them have a voice. Like to show people, hey, special needs people, we're here, we're not quiet, we have value and all that. And we have to be the example that we see value in these people. If they could, you could be that example na, oy, she sees this pala, maybe I should see it too. Hopefully that's what we're trying to come across here. And remember, I talked to you about sensory integration. And when these kids have occupational therapy to help with their sensory integration issues, it's usually a lot of movement. And that's why I think sports is good. Games and sports and physical activity is good. It helps integrate the left and the right side of the brain. It doesn't have to be a therapy session all the time. It could be something as natural as playing a game or playing a sport. That's why and they will always have sensory issues throughout their lives. So that's why I think that encouraging special needs people fitness and movement could really help them with how they process things and how they move about in the world. Um, that's why for me, Special Olympics Filipinas was a good fit. I'm also from a sporty family. Each of us have a sport. My sister is part of the coaching. She's a coach for the national fencing team, and
Oh,
she's yeah, and she's also a member of the FIE, which is an international federation of fencing directors, the ones who call out the the hits and the shots in a fencing tournament. And she's the only Asian woman in that federation. And so we
amazing.
all understand, and we also understand the value of competition and the exhilaration, the friendship, and everything else that comes along with that. That's why it's such a perfect fit. Yeah. And yeah, and I think being able to another value I think I give is the perspective I have as a meditator. Because a lot of people focus so much on behavior, but they keep forgetting there's also the mental health and the emotional health issue that you have to think about. You know, you can't just address it with just behavior and academic skills. You have to see them as whole people. I think they call that an etiological approach. And I don't know if I got that right. Meaning you're going to take in that person as a whole, how they feel about things, how they see things, and see how you can tweak that. Yeah. And that value is very important, I think. Yeah. That there are other perspectives in helping people with special needs. Yeah.
Okay, diyan ka talaga nilagay ni Lord, no? Para meron meron kang purpose sa ano, sa
Yeah, I'll be
sa
honest with you.
life.
I'll be honest with you. It's not like I think about what's my purpose or what's my value here. It's not like I think about it. If you didn't ask that question, I wouldn't think about it. But I thank you for that opportunity to be able to verbalize it, because I need to give myself a pat on the back sometimes. And that question gave me that opportunity. So thank you for that.
Kasi minsan 'di ba parang with your personality, you just do things. Tapos
Yeah.
alam at the end of the day, ay dami na, dami na. And then all related to one big purpose. So that's 'di ba kasi you're just a mom with two boys, and then all
Mhm.
of a sudden 'di ba the journey brought you to Special Olympics Pilipinas right now. And even your ano, techie work is maximized. So parang nandiyan ka for a reason. So hindi siya maliit na bagay.
Mhm.
And it's it's good that you took that step to be part of that, because not all parents would want to.
I think, I
Diba?
think, thank you. Para naging session na to for us. Because I never think about these things, but with your questions, napapaisip din ako. I think the reason why I got into it was for me to be able to think like I was doing something for my boys. Because when they were diagnosed, they nabigay sila sa OT, sa speech therapist, sa SPED teacher, sa ABA therapist. Um, yung gano'n. Tapos feeling mo wala kang magawa to monitor behavior. And I and I wasn't agreeing to monitoring behavior. But I was the one dealing with everybody else. I was the one dealing with people's questions regarding the boys. And I needed to do something that made sense for them and for me. And um, yeah, some parents would probably take special education, yung ganon. But I wanted something less academic, I suppose, and go straight right into the action, and that's what makes ESO Pilipinas perfect for me. Yeah.
Sa ano, parang maganda yung sinabi mo eh. You need to make sense or make meaning out of everything that's happening.
And sometimes you need to be action oriented, di ba? Yung
Oo.
ganon. I mean, most of my friends actually got into special needs one way or another. I have a friend who's an ABA therapist na, she's in the States. I have a friend who started a foundation na, everything, all that related to special needs, because they felt like they needed to find their value and they needed to express that through their children. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Pero in your personal journey, kasi syempre, di ba, even your children have their own lives, and
Mhm.
you're that support figure there, that
Mhm.
yung guide. Pero you still have your own personal journey.
Mhm.
Paano, kasi it really forces you to face your personal truth and whatever it is that's going on inside, 'di ba?
Uh-huh.
Marami kang kailangan na, okay, kailangan natin i-make sense 'to, kailangan natin baguhin 'to, we have to
Mhm.
reprogram a lot of things,
Uh-huh.
and it's
Uh-huh.
not easy. It's not easy
No.
to do that. So,
Mhm.
how were you able to really, you know, look at yourself and just see the heart and the truth that's inside?
It took a lot of meditation, that's for sure. Because you needed that silence, you needed that integration to be able to realize where the truth is, which one is really heart wrenching and which one is really the one that makes you happy. To be able to see what's the difference of what's going on in your life. So you needed that center. Yung ganon. And that was important to me. If I was going to be a good example for my children, um, my truth has to come out. And when people's expectations have been on you, even your own expectations, it's really, really a challenge to be a truthful parent to your children, to be an honest parent to your children. And I really had to work on that. And that was a challenge because everybody else didn't believe that that was my truth. Parang it was two way out. It was two way out there. Um, So it was a challenge for everybody else as well to see how I was moving my life about. Um, pero surprisingly, tuloy pa rin. Tuloy pa rin. I didn't want to hurt anybody, but maybe for a time I did hurt them. Pero now people are more accepting of this path that I've chosen. You know, I love meditation. It's still a challenge for me because I'm ADHD, so it's kind of hard to center. But I do see the difference now of being integrated and being all over the place, of having your brain like a Ferrari to being just, just parked in silence. And yeah, I just had also to. It's also good to have to get stronger with faith as the journey went on, yeah. Because when 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 the changing was happening, when I decided to have my truth, of course there's this drama that was going on, to be able to hold on to that, no, I'm sticking to my truth, I'm sticking to my truth, while everybody is not accepting it yet, that's really the challenge. It's so easy to give in, para wala na lang away. Pero surprisingly, when it all came to pass, talagang, what was I so worried about? Ganon. And the relief lang talaga is just so expansive. Diba? That sense of relief, that sense of silence, that's just so, ano ba to? The equanimity is just so mind-blowing. Parang, there's room pa pala. There's so much room pa pala for growth, not just for myself, but for everybody else. And I love that about that journey.
Yes.
Thank
Actually,
you. I love this rambling that I'm doing.
ang ganda ng sinabi mo na parang you had to follow your truth even if other people were kind of questioning or doubting it. But
Mhm.
then you stuck to it and eventually they saw what you were trying to do and
Uh-huh.
na-appreciate nila. So parang there's that change coming from inside. Then slowly,
And it
i-
brings it out to
oo,
the
oo,
environment.
nag-iiba na rin yung mga nasa paligid mo. That's
It was such,
beautiful.
imagine mo, I mean, like we would argue, hindi, ganito yung ano mo, they were telling me I'm wrong and stuff like that. And me, I'm trying to tell them, you're wrong. That was so exhausting, diba? That was so absolutely exhausting. And I really prayed and meditated na I just want silence. I just wanted to stop. Yung ganon. And when I was ready to forgive and accept, and that's when it all happened.
All in good time. Pag ready ka
Oh,
na, yun na talaga.
exactly.
Oo,
Let
lilipad
go of
na.
the resistance. Resistance is futile.
Oh, naalala ko sabi ni Bonnie, what you resist will persist. Yes, I love Bonnie. Ayun.
Yeah, I do too. I love Bunny too. Yes.
Mm-mm. Ayun. But thank you so much. Actually, akala ko nga mabilis lang ang call natin. But eventually it expanded, the
Mhm.
conversation grew and I really appreciate you sharing these things. It's not every day naman talaga, di ba, that we
Mhm.
get to hear something as special as this one. And thank you for sharing your insights and some part of your journey, even the
Mhm.
difficult ones, di ba? So
Mhm.
I thank you for that. Ayun.
Thank you for letting me express myself also, because like what I said earlier, the parents don't get to express themselves much, and when they do, it's always about their pain. And I get for this moment with you, I got to process my journey, which I have never done. Which I have
No.
never done. I'm gonna have to look back at this, at the recording of this, and really talk about it. Maybe can add some more into it. Yeah. So I really appreciate.
Bawat
Yeah.
pain naman talaga meron stories of, victory, even if it's behind. But then it's going to, the victory will step forward and that
Yeah.
will radiate talaga. So,
And thank
mm-mm.
you for helping me realize that. Yeah.
Thank you, Ren, for saying yes. I know biglaan. All right. So, Chris, thank you again. And for those who are going to watch this, even if it's on the replay, Remember that you're highly favored and truly blessed, and I hope that you have learned so much from this conversation. And if this kind of content,
Resonates.
touches, yes,
Mhm.
resonates and touches your heart, um, please invite friends to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Okay. Sige. God bless everyone. Take care. Sige.
Bye.
Bye.